cool. It's like water, but it's cola, I guess. I don't know. It's bricks of cola. It's tiny. It's like if we hired the Lego company to make our logo, that's what they would have made, technically. I don't want to get sued, so please don't sue us, Lego. Please.
Well, they're a nice European company. They wouldn't dare sue you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Large corporations usually don't sue people. They're too busy doing God's work. Too many nice things. Yeah.
They're happy Euros. They would never.
Sure. We got a lot of fun lined up for tonight. Well, we've got me, of course, but we got Kevin, we got Chris, and we got special guest John Cataline. John, thank you for joining.
Absolutely.
John of Real Action Pro Wrestling in Ohio. And where are you based out of now, John?
We're still Youngstown.
Yeah. Youngstown? Okay.
Yep. Coming up on our 14th year anniversary in November.
What's the name of the place where you wrestle at?
Real Action Pro Wrestling. Yeah, that's my promotion.
Right. Where's that location?
We're in Youngstown, Ohio.
But if they were going to go, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the Ohio Urban Renaissance Center, and it's on 421 and a half North Avenue in Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay, that's easy to remember. Like the Renaissance Center. I like that. Yeah.
So a half, not a quarter.
Yes, it's a half.
Yeah. So we kind of did it in reverse, so I'm going to have Kevin announce what we're going to be doing. He doesn't have to announce who we are, because I've already said it. It's done, Kevin. Oh, my God. I did it this time. I'm sorry. I'll let you do it next time. I took your thunder there. But you go ahead and you announce what we're doing, what we're talking about.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to do something very interesting, something new, something original. We're going to do like a multiversal idea smorgasbord. We're going to talk about what if horror scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
So take some of your favorite horror movie characters. We're going to do our little twist, like what if a certain scenario went down this way? What if they didn't do this? What if they did this? What if they did that? So forth and so on.
What if every dumbass didn't run upstairs?
Right.
Or down in the basement.
Right.
Why are you going in the basement?
Right.
Can't go upstairs. Not allowed.
If there's a running vehicle and you have a chance to jump in it to avoid the killer, you would actually do that instead of just
most of the time,
instead of hesitating.
It would make sense.
Or you're shouting out someone's name that you're looking for, who they're probably dead anyway. Hey, John, where are you, John? Yeah, you're just drawing the killer to you. Using common sense.
I think tonight marks the first night that Sammy accidentally gave me a compliment. She says, "What's up, nerds?" And, "Oh, hello, Donald." So I'm separate from the nerds. So
sorry,
she's called you three nerds, and I'm
edge of the nerds though. So we're cool,
I'm like, cool.
That's right. You're right, John. And this year, by the way, is the 40th anniversary of the Revenge of the Nerds movie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Ward is here. Which couldn't be made today, unfortunately.
What's up, buddy? How are you? Good to see you. He says, "What's up, gentlemen?" Ward, director of the multiverse. He says, "Those incompetent ass characters need to make those mistakes to keep the film going." Well, that's true.
That's true. Else there wouldn't be a movie. Very true.
And George Wilkins is toasting us. So thank you, George. Appreciate that.
Hello,
thank you guys for so quickly popping in. It's very appreciative of you all. I'm going to go ahead and quickly post the link here. But I wanted to give a chance. Chris, did you have any tea to spill this time, or?
Yeah, I have a little bit of tea.
All right, spill some tea. I will put some music on for you, and then I'll do the post here.
Make it sweet, sir. Make that tea sweet.
There you go.
All right. So, really, that's my music. Okay. All right. So today, in honor of a certain movie going into streaming, we're going to talk a little bit about the actual live, live locations that they did not shoot in the studio for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh.
There
Okay.
are a couple. There are a couple of actual locations where they did not shoot in a studio. The big one is where they shot The Void. Where they shot The Void is in the UK. It's in a place called Pitstone Quarry. And it's basically just a big quarry with some water, and you take pictures, and it looks just like The Void. It's boring and just nothing really. It's it's a quarry. You can go there. You can visit there. It's in Buckinghamshire, UK. And drive there. Around it for like 5-10 minutes, whatever. Or you can hike it, you can explore. You can day trip. There's a lot of different locations that were shot, like of The Void, that were shot there. A fun day. Fly into London and then drive to there. You go again. That is the Pitstone Quarry. UK. There's also a scene where they find the dog. Spoiler alert: they find a dog, and they shot this at a beach called Holcombe Beach in the Norfolk coast. Kind of a pretty looking beach. You can't really tell it's a beach in the movie, but where they shot it and they found the dog and all that stuff. Yeah, it was really pretty beach called the Holcombe Beach is what it's called.
Probably a little more exciting to visit than the quarry, I would imagine.
Yes, definitely.
The beach.
Yeah, I mean it's still England, so the beaches are not exactly how should I say this? Interesting. But it is still pretty beach. It's a big beach. It's an interesting. It's just what you expect out of a beach is not what you're going to get at a beach in England compared to a beach in anywhere else. England, Scotland, Ireland, and even Iceland, Greenland, all that stuff. People in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, there's not a lot. People really swim a lot because it's really cold. So it's not really, you don't go to the beach to hang out at the beach and swim too much. You go there and you don't see a lot of birds, a lot of animals. It's really good. Beaches are really good places there to, see wildlife. It's really fun to do. A lot of birds, stuff like that. But Holcombe Beach in North Norfolk. And then everything else was basically shot either in. They also shot the opening scene. Spoiler alert, guys. The opening scene takes place in a forest. Ooh, and they shot that in Vancouver.
In Canada, really, of all places.
Oh yeah, they also shot a bunch of it in UK, in a studio there, and then a bunch of it in LA.
What do they call it? Pine Studios or something like that in the UK, if I recall. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact. I can't.
Maybe it was Bangers and Mash Studio. I don't know. It was one of those.
Yeah, it was some studio. I can't remember the name of the studio. I know they shot in there's two different studios that they shot in the movie though. And in LA as well.
Okay. We've lost 17 viewers, Chris.
Well, what?
Whoa!
Oh, here we go. I got it. Yeah, I do have it here somewhere. So it's the Bovingdon Airfield Studios.
There we go.
TVA
About time.
Yes, and they also shot at Pinewood Studios.
What did I say? I was close. I was freaking close.
Uh-huh.
So, is it cheaper to film in Canada, or is it just they have a bunch of cool locations? What do you guys think about that?
Usually cheaper.
Well, they have better tax.
Tax incentives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Money. It's always about money.
That's
Oftentimes,
what-
they
that's what-
film in Canada for television. Like the CW was big on that. They would film in Canada all the freaking time. And places like Metropolis or whatever would just be Toronto or something like that. So
That's also why a lot of people shoot in Ireland as well, because Ireland has a really, really good tax credit.
Game of
that, so-
Thrones, Northern Ireland, Game of Thrones.
HBO
that
loves
was-
to shoot a lot of their stuff in Ireland, actually.
Yeah.
And Europe
just-
in general.
Because LA is so expensive to shoot now because you don't get any kind of tax break.
Yeah. Plus, you really you can't you can't pull out.
Oh, well.
Okay. Well, we gotta move it on because we've got a lot to talk about today. But luckily, I don't have too many books today. I didn't read a ton. I only read two things. I read the Masked Matcher or Maker Matcher. I don't know. It's got an asterisk and it's Yiddish for big shot, is what it says. It's Dark Horse Comics. It's all about what if it's like in the I want to say in like the 30s, 40s, probably around there. Kind of the Clark Gable era, the Humphrey Bogart. And it's all about this guy that is on his way up in the world. You know, he's got big things going for him. He almost gets this job in Hollywood, and he gets a flat tire. And with that flat tire, he gets an offer to become a wrestler from a lady that's like, oh, my husband was going to wrestle. He just kicked the bucket. So how about you do it? I'll give you $5. And lo and behold, guess how much money he needed to pay rent? $5. So, of course, he takes a job. He becomes the Masked Matcher. And he has a really good time. And it's all about, you know, and then he goes to the studio, and guess what? You know, he probably, maybe he gets the job, maybe he doesn't. Spoiler alert, he doesn't get the job. So then he goes back to being the wrestler. And that's where the first issue ends. Boy, is it fun. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think there's a lot of potential for this. This is one of 4. It's only a 4-parter, but there's a lot of potential for this to be a really good series. So, and with John being on, I thought it would be kind of fun to read a wrestling comic or a wrestling themed comic. So there you go, sir. In honor of you being on the show, here's the Masked Matcher from Dark Horse Comics. Just came out.
$5 payday. That's definitely an indie show too.
Yeah. yeah. There's a lot of well, you're doing it for the art, or we'll give you lunch. Oh, I get lunch. Cool.
Hot dog and a handshake, you know.
Yeah,
That's
16
what it is.
hours on set. There you go. There's a hot dog and a bag of chips. It's,
Right.
You know, if you're lucky, name brand soda, but probably not.
No.
You're getting
not at all.
Faygo, buddy. You're getting Faygo soda. And the last but not least
Hey,
is
what's wrong with Faygo?
well, I mean, it's
Nothing.
cheaper soda.
I mean-
It's nothing wrong with it. It's just cheaper
It's the
soda.
best soda.
It's pretty good. I like Faygo. I've always
He
liked
likes
Faygo.
it too, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I've got no problem with it. Ward says pro wrestling is thrilling as hell, and Jeremy the Madman, hot dog and a handshake. He says, and
See, he knows. He knows. He knows.
and then Cage is on. He says, hello, sir. Good to see you. And then my mom and dad are on. Everybody say hi to my mom and dad.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. McKinney.
Hi, mom and dad. Last but not least on this is DC Horror presents Creature Commandos, guys. So Creature Commandos, we all know that I think it's this December. They're coming out with a television series for HBO on HBO Max. They're coming out with a Creature Commandos animated series that's coming out. Looks like fun on a bun, guys. I'm excited. I can't wait to see it. They're kind of jumping ahead here. David Dastmalchian, I believe is his last name, Dastmalchian. He was Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad. He writes a lot of comic books now, believe it or not, and this is one of them. He's writing Creature Commandos. It's a lot of fun. It's all about a government entity getting the team together. You know, first issue, getting the team together, and at the end, the big baddie presents himself, and boy, oh boy, is it a big baddie, guys. I don't know how they're going to pull this one off, but it's a good bad guy to have for the Creature Commandos.
What What type of creatures are they? Like just like a.
Well, we got a Gorgon here. We got Lady Gorgon. I don't remember her name. We've got the Wolfman.
Oh, nice.
We've got a vampire, and of course we've got Frankenstein's creature
Oh,
here.
that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Monster Squad in a way, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
like that. And they fight for, the U.S. or whatever, or for the government entities, to do good, I guess. But lots of fun, lots of cool ideas, like ultra directorial sunlight light waves that they fire to, like, entrap the vampire so they can have a conversation with him and get him to be on part of the team. That kind of stuff. So some creativity that went along with it. Very much enjoyed it. And like I said, the ending, it's something else. And also at the end, you get a nice AEW Presents Swerve Strickland mini comic.
Oh, okay.
So you get AEW, a little treat there at the end, too, if you're a wrestling fan. So everything's wrestling in the comic books for you. I know, right? I didn't even plan, or maybe I did. I didn't with the Creature Commandos. I definitely didn't plan it with that. When it popped in at the end, I saw that. I was like, oh, that's cool. I will talk about that. But that's it. That's all I got. That's me pulling out. So there we go. All right. Cool. All right, so let's get started, guys. What if? This is the exciting part about this. This is what I love. What If Horror Edition. We came up with this idea last week, and we thought, man, we could have a lot of fun with this. We could roll with it. And it was a little tricky at first, kind of getting everybody's mindset in the right realm. Like, Chris texted us, and he was like, guys, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And we were like, come on, you could do it. And then suddenly,
Believe
like,
yourself.
the dam burst at like 3 a.m. for him or something, and he started messaging us, and he's like, well, what about this idea and this idea? And I was like, love it. Yes, go with that. Yes. One of the ideas that I don't know that if you were necessarily using for a full idea, Chris, but you had talked about the Mogwai.
Yes. I was looking at an idea for it, but then as I was thinking of a what if for it,
Mm-hmm.
it turned into more and more of a plot hole in the movie that kind of destroys the movie for me now. And the Mogwai comes from, like, as far as I remember, China.
Mm-hmm.
So would it be midnight in China or Chinatown, or would it be midnight? It doesn't make sense. So now it's all I can think about now when I think about the Mogwai is what the rules don't make sense, because
If it's part of their culture, or like their species, how does that change with where you're located?
yeah, exactly. Like, so is it really like noon? Can I eat after noon?
So don't feed them after noon in that case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking at a 12-hour
Don't
difference.
feed them. Just don't feed them, period.
What
What
does
if...
the movie take place?
Same scenario.
Yeah. I
Takes
mean...
place in the East Coast, right?
Yeah. I think, like, always want to say, like, a Chinatown. It's usually going to be, like, either like Chicago or New York or San Francisco. Usually those are the big ones when they're talking about Chinatown.
My bigger question are the Mogwai from Earth? Or are they from a different planet? So is it midnight their planet? That's where it gets really like...
Right. Right. And if they say don't feed them after that time, I get that you're not supposed to feed them, but what if the Mogwai, like there's a male Mogwai and a female Mogwai, and they decide to have dinner or something, and they just fuck up on the time? You know what I mean? Like, they're sitting down to a nice meal, and they're like, oh, shit.
Oh,
You know?
shit, it's after.
Right. Oh, well, we fed ourselves, so we're good. Like, how did... Does that work?
Yeah, a lot of plot holes with this storyline.
A lot indeed. Frank is here. Hello, Frank.
What's up,
Jeremy the
Brian?
Madman says Wolfman has nards. Yes, Monster Squad. I believe everybody on this feed right now is a huge fan of Monster Squad.
Yes.
In
The valuable lesson they taught us in that.
I've never seen it.
Has balls. It's a good thing to know.
everybody that makes sense on this knows Monster Squad and has seen it. Chris doesn't make any sense. Why have you never seen it, Chris?
Because I didn't watch horror movies when I was a kid.
Yeah, but it's available now.
I know, I just never got around to watching it. I got so many movies to watch, I never got around to it.
God.
It's on my list, I just haven't watched it yet.
First of all, he's a Shakespearean man first.
I did watch Fright Night, though.
Oh, what'd you
Thank
think?
God.
What'd you think?
I thought it was good. I wasn't sure which one to watch. I watched the original.
That's
Oh
good.
yeah,
Excellent
absolutely.
choice. Excellent choice. They're both great, but the original is still holds up. Still holds up really, 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 really well.
That's where I forgot you like the remake. We talked about this
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. I'm one of the few,
Can't
I
do
think, that enjoyed the
Can't
remake.
do it. Oh,
Yeah.
I hate it. I can't do it.
Really? You didn't like the remake?
No, I love the original. That's one of my absolute favorite vampire movies. But like, I can't. I even like the sequel. I thought Fright Night 2 was fun, but I can't do the remake, man. It just something
You weren't
about
feeling it. You weren't feling it.
Kevin?
Honestly, the only thing I liked about it was Chris Sarandon's cameo, and it took an hour and 40 minutes to get to that part.
Yeah,
And that
well,
was about it for me. I'm not gonna lie.
David Tennant being in it was a big selling point for me. But Kevin, real quick question: why do you have one of your relatives' pictures up behind you? I don't know if you noticed that, but you probably want to take that down.
Actually, I thought he was a relative of yours.
Put something horrific up on the screen instead of somebody you're
I thought
obviously
this was-
related to.
I thought this was one of your like.
I thought it was like I was like, is this your brother? What's going on here? Like twins?
It was like your third cousin or something. You know.
Shit. But anyway, yeah. So like with Monster Squad, what's really cool is I got to meet Andre Gower, who played Sean, the lead kid.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I got to meet him probably about 5 or 6 months back. He came into where I work, and he's good friends with one of the guys that owns a production company there. And he came in, and I knew he was coming in advance, so I had my Monster Squad DVD out and ready to rock and roll. And yeah, that was great. It was great. He was such a nice guy, and he signed everything for me, and we took photos and stuff, and I nerded out like this, you know. And,
He was just here at a they call it like a flea. It's like a Halloween flea market they have. And,
oh, nice.
Like near Cleveland and stuff. And unfortunately, I couldn't make it. But him and kid who played Rudy. Well, he's a grown ass man now. But
Oh, Sean Austin.
yeah, they were both there, so that was kind of cool. I wish I could have went to go see him, but unfortunately, I had to show them.
Yeah, throw a football at his head.
Sean Austin's making his Broadway debut playing Santa in Elf.
Oh, that's a good role for him.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely has that. He now that he's gotten older, he has a real maternal kind of like a paternal, like a father figure kind of vibe to him now, just like a good dad, and Santa definitely has that vibe. So that's cool. Good for him. Good for him. That's one thing. Sean's a hard-working man. He does not stop. He's like his dad. He does not stop working. And speaking of not stop working, Half's Hot Sauce, one of our sponsors here on Rumble Pop Live, has graciously given us a bottle to give away at the end of today's show. So at the end of the show, we're going to do a small raffle. You're just going to let us know if you're still here. We're going to put your name on the Wheel of Destiny. Kevin will spin it. And if your name is called, you will win an amazing bottle of more Cowbell hot sauce. And look at the pepper, the seeds in that. This is a 9 out of 10 spice level, guys. This one made me hiccup like a madman. But it just looks so damn good. It almost looks like a marinara sauce. It looks so good. You know, with like Parmesan in it. It's not. Don't think it is. It's not. Don't get it confused. Because it'll hurt. It'll hurt. So we'll be giving away a bottle of this beauty right here at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. And thanks to Half's Hot Sauce for the generous donation of said bottle of hot sauce to give away. Let's see. Ward has a few comments. He said, recommend a highly underrated slasher movie, Drive Through.
I just watched that a couple of weeks ago on my horror watches.
Oh, no
Seen it
shit.
before, but it's been a while. It's fun.
Very cool. He says, Gremlins never felt like a horror movie to me. I mean, it did to me, like the first one. The second one was more fun, but the first one was creepy, scary. Like, it was a scary It was pretty horrific. Like
Especially Mrs. Deagle.
I'm shocked. Like I went back and watched it, and I was like, damn, this is scary.
Talk about underrated horror villain. Mrs. Deagle, yeah, very, very underrated. She was a bitch. She was mean, man.
Yeah, very not nice. Not nice at all.
Nope.
And then Chris explains. Jeremy says, "Spin the wheel, make the deal." Yeah, hell yeah, we'll give it away. Darth Window says, "Nice." And Ward says, "Sometimes those wheels are destined to screw you over." Well, yeah, I mean, if you drink this instead of consume it responsibly, yeah, you might get pretty screwed over the next day in the bathroom. I will say that might, yeah, this would do you in for sure. This is hot, guys. This is hot stuff. Let me just say the ingredients: water, distilled vinegar, yellow onion, Carolina Reaper mash, brown mustard seed, yellow mustard seed, garlic powder, lemon extract, lemon oil, sea salt, and xanthium gum. So yeah.
Does it give you like a measure of like how hot it is type of thing? Does it tell you that?
It says 9 out of 10. That's what it says.
Ooh, shit, yeah. Ouch.
It says 9 bells, cowbells out of 10 cowbell heat level.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So. My butt's hurting just thinking about it.
I know. This is hot shit, guys. This is hot stuff. So if you don't want, let's say you win and you're like, nah, I don't want it. Just let us know and we'll give it to somebody else, because I know some people's tolerance levels are not as high. This is a hot one.
Is there any health warnings on there? The fact that...
We just gave it now.
Oh.
Yeah. And Hector Hernandez says Leprechaun in the Hood is top tier entertainment.
Oh, absolutely. And in space. The one before that, where we was in space, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was good.
And Frank says, why was Gizmo more civilized than the Mogwai who popped off of his body? Well, you ever make a duplicate of a duplicate, Frank? And it's just not as good.
Like Duplicity, right? Because they were all different. Each character was different. Yeah,
you got
exactly.
it. You got it, buddy. You got it. Exactly a quote from that movie. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well played. Well played. So let's get officially started here. Does anybody want to throw one out? Any of you guys want to go first and just mention something?
John should go first. He's our guest. I think he should go first.
Throw me under the bus.
Under the bus.
Well, you know.
So mine aren't probably super creative. They're pretty much, standard. But I said, what if Jason never drowned at Camp Crystal Lake? So we know the whole premise of Friday the 13th is this camp opening back up after several years. And we find out there's this killer who's killing these people one by one. We obviously find out that later in the movie it's Mrs. Voorhees, and she's doing this because Jason drowned at the camp, and now she wants revenge, right? So if he didn't drown, what would she be pissed about? Would she find something else to be mad about? Like, obviously Jason got bullied too, so let's say that maybe she came back and she decided to kill because he was bullied as a kid. But at that point, would he be grown up now, and would he kill with her? Like, there's so many different scenarios you could do with that, because, I mean, if she hadn't died at the end of the first one, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. It did come out in the 80s, though, so, I mean, it did.
44 years ago. 44 years ago.
I had time to see it, it's almost as old as me, shit. So, like, you get to the point where, like, would they have killed together? Would she have made it to the sequel? Would she have made it to the third one? Who knows? Like, there's a lot of cool things you could have done with that. But I feel like, regardless of if he would have drowned or not, she would have found a way to be pissed off about something, and people still would have been getting killed. Or maybe he just would have been the one to do it instead of her. Yeah. So it could have been a real, like, different thing. Like, what do you guys take on that?
I think she would have sent him around. I think she would have, used him as her vehicle for vengeance. And it would have gotten to the point where, like, not only, like, if she saw how successful it was with these kids and stuff, she probably would use it with somebody that cut her off in a parking space at the mall or something, too, It would just get ridiculous. Oh, you're out of forks today?
In the front seat. She just gives him a look, and he's like, I got it, I got this.
Right.
She just takes it out, it's done.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I think they would tag team together, mom and son, and just take people out.
And that's what I'm thinking, because then, like, how cool would that be? Like, but I like Donald's take on it too, because it's true. And she pretty much was his driving force, even though she was dead, That's what brought him back in part 2 and part 3, and then, like, eventual part 572, when he's still killing, but the reason is because of his mom. Like, he never let that go. The question is, though, if he would have not drowned, would he still have been like this superhuman type of whatever the hell Jason really is, because they really never tell us.
Good point.
Well,
Just a dead-
if you go by the first 3 movies, he wasn't superhuman. Like in part 2, when he had like the potato sack, you're not going to take him. You're not going to take him.
I don't know, man. Still, listen, for not being superhuman with the potato sack, which was my favorite look of him. Like honestly,
Me too.
He was still a tough dude. Like he was putting like fingers through eyeballs and squeezing people's head and their eyeballs. That's a strong ass dude.
No. Oh yeah, actually, that was part 3. That was part 3, but part 2, for some reason, that was like the most human Jason. It was weird, like you know how the movie. Yeah.
I mean, that's when we technically got to see him come back as like this human. So we don't really know if like the end of part 1 was like the dream or if it was real or what have you.
Is he a human though, or is he undead? Like,
well, later on, after the final chapter, he becomes undead.
Here's my miserable thing is that I've only ever seen the first one.
Oh wow, okay.
So did he put on the mask because he was embarrassed? Because honestly,
No.
it's scarier with just his face.
It was a pure accident in part 3. Basically, this Joker like counselor, was gonna get killed anyway. He had a hockey mask, and then when Jason killed him, he's like, oh.
Yeah,
So he didn't get the world famous hockey mask until the 3rd film.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The biggest iconic piece of a character, and it doesn't happen until film 3.
Right. Well, it's also only his 2nd film technically. So.
True.
Well, yeah, but that's still insane.
The picture behind Kevin is what he looked like at the end of the first one, obviously.
Right.
And that was like the kid version of Jason. Again, like they kind of played that off as it could have been a dream, though, or was it real, or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like when you see him in the 2nd one, you see him with this like sack over his head, which to me really was the scariest look. I mean, that beats the hockey mask any day, because it was just a big grown-up dude in a pair of overalls and a flannel shirt and a big potato sack with an eye. And it's
I've always said that, because think about it, in real life, let's say you come home, you're long day, you see some person wearing like a burly sack over their face,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, what the? If someone's wearing a hockey mask, I might laugh at first, like, are you serious, man? But you wearing like a sack potato on your head, I can't identify who you are. That's some scary stuff.
Oh, that's
If
cool.
you want to take it back to, if you, and I don't want to ruin this for you, Donald, because I know you said you haven't seen past the first one, but if you look into, like, if you keep watching them and you get into what the hell, Jason Goes to Hell, that kind of gives you, now I don't know if this was supposed to be like something to make people think or what, but in one scene there's the Necronomicon laying there and the dude looks through it. So it's like, is Jason a Deadite? We don't know.
Yeah, Ward
Really
just
don't
said that. In the original draft of Jason Goes to Hell, he was going to be a Deadite.
Yeah, well, there was talk of doing
Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy and Ash, right? That
Freddy
was
versus Jason versus Ash. Yeah, that would have been awesome. Did you see In a Violent Nature? Did you go and see that in the theater?
So I saw it, but I'll be honest with you, I feel like that was an hour and a half of my life that I want back.
Right?
It was just walking fake Ash Jason. Maybe the only kill in that movie that was decent was, I like to call it, the yoga kill. That was the best kill in the whole movie.
Yep. Yeah.
That was it. Everything else.
They blew their budget on that one. They literally spent their entire budget on that one scene, accordionizing the poor girl.
I'll tell you this, but they're making a sequel, and I don't know if I even want to watch it.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
So you prefer Hatchet then, I'm assuming?
I think
Hatchet is 1,000% better than this shit. Let me tell you, Hatchet.
It was bad, dude. It was bad. Yeah. I apologized to everybody, and I stood outside the theater. I wasn't working there or anything. I just stood outside the theater and apologized to everybody as they came out. And I was like, I'm sorry you went through this with me. Like, I didn't do it, but it was that bad. I felt so compelled to just apologize to everyone.
Dude, how about that ending? I fell asleep. Like, I fell asleep during the car ride, and then I saw the part where the girl's just staring into the woods, and I'm thinking, please let something happen.
Yeah.
And nothing happened.
Nothing.
And I was like, okay, that was a waste of an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's disappointing. That's disappointing to hear. I actually wanted to see that movie.
Oh, please don't.
Don't.
All right. Thank you.
Don't.
Yeah.
You'll save me 90 minutes of my life. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll keep it. You'll use it for something useful.
Yeah.
You know what?
Productive.
I think I'll watch on Netflix Army of the Dead instead. How's that?
There you go. That's a better film.
Yes.
All right, good.
Much better film. Much better film. Yeah. So we've got that what if scenario. So let's say Chris, Kevin, either of you have an idea, or you want me to throw one out? What do you think?
Professor, why don't you go next?
Sure, why not? We're gonna we'll go with. I was thinking about like what happened in The Quiet Place. What if the lead characters in that movie were deaf, and they couldn't tell if they were making any noise to attract the monsters?
You're such an asshole.
That would suck.
That is mean spirited, man.
No, it's not. I was thinking it was just like, well, what would happen? I'm not trying to be mean spirited. It's like you have to know if you have to be able to hear sound to know if you're making sound or not.
Either they would be the first one to go, or they would be the protected character throughout the whole movie, just because of the fact that they're deaf. So it goes either way. They don't know if somebody next to them is over here screaming like an idiot. You're about to get swooped up by one of these.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I got it. Throw Matt Murdock in there to help lead the way.
You would have to, right? I mean, I don't know. That's interesting because if every single person, I think there was a movie where everybody went blind, if I recall, and I think it was Mark Ruffalo was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and everybody was blind in it. It was like a big thing, and like they were trying to find something or some. I don't know. I didn't watch it, but I heard the synopsis for it and stuff. So, you know, it kind of.
There's also an Apple TV show about that called C with Jason Momoa.
Oh, okay. Is it good?
It's pretty good. It's like a post-apocalyptic thing where basically the humans evolved so no one can see. Then they have kids who can see, so there's a whole war over these people who can see.
Blind people have a war over people that can see.
Yes.
How's that
really
work?
Funny because you have all these fight scenes of blind people. It's really funny.
Oh hell no!
But they just a couple of them over there fighting the wall. There's one stabbing the ground.
Well, there is a famous Japanese series of movies called Zatoichi, and that dude's no joke. The blind swordsman. He takes care of business.
Mr. Sean says maybe he still would have gone psycho over being cut from the 1980 U.S. hockey team. Talking about Jason there.
Yeah, that's possible.
And Donald, what the fuck? You've never seen Friday the 13th besides the first one? Yes, Jesse, I know. I'm sorry.
Me either, guys. Me either.
Okay, there's two of us. All right, I don't feel so bad.
See, John and I are like the big horror movie connoisseurs in this group. So,
but I will say I believe I've seen every. Thanks to Kevin, by the way, every Friday Nightmare on Elm Street. Every Nightmare on Elm Street. And thanks to my ex from years and years ago, I watched every Halloween. That was probably the first big horror series I ever finished was Halloween, was watching all of those. And I still have not seen every Saw, though, because
well, there's like 90 of them. That's understandable.
Yeah,
Saw X, though, you should watch Saw X. That is like actually probably the best story of the whole series.
It's a prequel,
really
right?
Good.
Really?
It's a prequel. Well, actually, it's more of an interquel. I'll use that term. It takes place between part 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
But it's really good. Like the story is like half the movie is just story. That's what's so good about it. You learn more about, the main character.
For making those movies as long as they have, and the fact that his character passed away in the third one, they've kept it consistent. They kept the story good. Everything makes sense. And I give them credit for that, man. They're almost about to be 11 movies deep, and they're still good. Like, that's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because some movies fall off after the first two. Like,
was that Chris Rock one? Was that any good?
Spiral.
I won't lie, it wasn't.
So.
It wasn't like. It wasn't like watching a real Saw movie. It was kind of like almost. I don't want to say a knockoff.
Kind of spin-off, a weird spin-off.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't have the impact that Saw had. Like, if you watch that, you're like, okay, cool. If you watch Spiral, you're not going to sit there and go, oh, wow, I didn't expect that. It was pretty obvious in that one.
It's hard to have a Saw film without Tobin.
Yeah, it is. It is
really hard. Even with the little jigsaw dummy, whatever, Billy. Yeah, without Tobin Bell being there, it's difficult. That's why he was in a lot of them just in flashbacks, because they had to include him some way, somehow.
The movies, you're right, 100%.
Yeah, the biggest. It was just a big mistake. I think killing him in general was just a big mistake. I think they should do. They should do Saw X. But they should have done it where he was in space and they had put his brain into the ship.
Oh, wow.
And the ship is designed then to kill everybody.
So do you think, like, just hypothetically, like, obviously these movies have spun so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that eventually, maybe it'll be Saw 11, who knows, maybe it'll be Saw 12. Do you think that there's a point where we get the story that he never really did die, maybe he did get some treatment? Like, I know they showed that.
Oh, you mean a what if?
Well, yeah, I guess you'd call it a what if, yeah. So, like, in Saw 10, basically, we saw that whole story about that failed treatment and stuff, right?
In Mexico, yeah.
What if he did get some kind of help and he really isn't dead? Like, maybe we get that overall, like, instead of it, we think it's the flashback, but they say, hey, he's actually still here. You know, that would be kind of cool, like an overall.
Fake is dead.
Well, I think we should pivot then. Kevin, didn't you? Wasn't this one of your babies?
You know, it's funny. It kind of was. Shoot. All right, I might as well jump into it.
You and John, right? Was you and John that came up with it?
I didn't have that, but I just thought about it, like, just thinking, like, what if, you know, they kind of just say, hey, man, you know, like, here's your big experience.
It kind of is. Basically, it was just, what if John was properly diagnosed and treated for his tumor early enough?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Because remember in Saw X, I hate to spoil like a little spoiler scene, but basically, you know, he's looking for treatment, and in Mexico, he thought he was going to get the treatment, and it turns out it was a scam. But yeah, it can go with that. Let's say it was like legit treatment in Mexico, and it actually took care of it. Because you remember there's a scene where he's like drawing one of his traps, and he just stopped because he was feeling a little bad about life. Like, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. So imagine he got treated. That would have been it. He would have never done any more traps. He would never, punished any more people for their sins.
So, all right, that's the question, though. So what if, like, in Saw 11, he decides to, like, he still thinks he's sick, right? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, he's got all these poor people trapped in this room, and all of a sudden, he realizes he's okay. He's just like, my bad, you guys can go. Like, he just says, you know.
Well, that would have been like the first one when the guy cuts off his own leg or his foot to get out, and then after that, you hear a ping, and then the guy that's dead, spoilers, in the middle of the floor, checks his phone and goes, oh shit, I'm cured. You know, and then he just gets up and
it's cool.
Yeah, tosses the keys like, all right, I'll see ya.
He strolls on out of there. Yeah.
Walk away like, I'm sorry about this, guys. We'll get you loose. Everything's good. Sorry. Big misunderstanding.
Also,
I'll never forget watching that ending when that happened. I was like, what the fuck, man?
That's one of the best. That's one of the best plot twist endings ever.
Yeah. So good, man.
Because in real life, imagine you saw that, you'd be like, what the?
Hell no.
You'd be like,
crazy, man.
You think it's some dude's dead, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a second.
Right, he just stands up. It's like, oh, what the hell is this? Like,
yeah.
I think his violent, twisted nature, he really went down a dark path when he was diagnosed, and part of it was, so I feel like even if he was properly diagnosed and they were able to cut it off at the pass, I think that he would still experience like insurance issues, and stuff like that, and there would still be.
Well, that was part 6.
There would still be problems like that. So he would be, while he might not be like as sadistic, he would probably be more vigilantic, and would like go after insurance people and just like shoot them in parking lots and shit. That's what I'm thinking. It would be more like that kind of thing.
I mean, he was real big on like people having that chance at the same time. Like when Amanda screwed up, and then like was it I forget his name in the movie, but like Constance Mandelar, like his character.
Hoffman, Mark Hoffman. So
like, he was pretty big on like making sure that they gave people a chance, and they were just killing folks. Like, screw you, man. Like, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough. They built the story so cool that you really have to go back and really think about all the shit that happened. That's a lot of movies to kind of like process, man.
Pull the pieces together,
yeah. I think that if they would have stayed on the path of the first one, in my opinion, as far as like if they would have stuck with actual more, it became more about the gimmick and less about the plot, and we all know that happens with sequels with these kinds of things. It becomes more about the gimmick and less about the plot. I mean, same thing happened with James Bond. I mean, it became more about the gadgets and less about the plot also. But these gadgets are still really cool though. But I feel like
director of the multiverse made a good point.
What's that?
The death of John's son, Gideon. That's true. What if his son didn't die? Remember that, John?
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, Sammy says her parent. Oh, hey, Sammy's parents. Hello. Good to see you.
Sammy's parents are on?
Maybe. Hey, Sal. Good to see you. We need a Collector 3, says Ward. Jesse says they made that movie, Space Odyssey. Oh, so they made that with the whole putting his brain in the ship or something. That makes sense. George Wilkins says best plot twist would be Sleepaway Camp.
Oh yeah, that one's messed up.
That's
one's
100
really
my favorite.
That's messed up.
I love showing that to people that have never seen it because
I've never seen it.
Oh,
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, watch it, and when you get to the end, you'll be like,
Okay.
Oh my.
So I should watch it. Is it way too gory for me?
No, it's not.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Okay.
Gory, no.
Okay.
But-
will you watch it with me, Kevin? Hold my hand.
My daughter about 4 months ago, and I recorded her reaction. And it was the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Okay.
Loved it.
All right. I will check it out.
You definitely have
You
to watch
know
it.
what? If you're to give a hint to what the movie is in a way, what's that movie? We actually talked about it a few months ago.
So basically, to kind of sum it up for you, it's a summer camp type of movie. So this girl goes to a summer camp, and she gets picked on. It's got the kind of the Friday the 13th scenario a little bit, only it's a female. She gets picked on. Her cousin's pretty super overprotective of her, and people start dying, and we don't know how or why. And then you kind of get like the big kaboom at the end, and it's like, did not expect that. So that's kind of like what you're looking into. But I don't want to say much because I don't want to spoil it for you because the ending is pretty. It's a punch in the face. Give you that. It's a punch in the face.
It's out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I wouldn't call it too gory though. It's got some cool kills, but nothing I don't think that make you be like, I can't watch this.
Yeah, just basic 80s.
Hector's got a good question. Hector says, what's the best character decision in a horror movie? Like a decision the character made in a situation.
Let's see.
Damn.
We could probably use Laurie Strode as a good example.
I mean, yeah. That's always whether you like her or not as far as like a person or a character, she's pretty much like the final girl, if you think about it.
Especially the second movie. She's in the hospital, she's not all in the right state of mind, and yet she found a way to survive it. She was pretty clever. How she was able to get away constantly. So that'd be one situation to think of.
Dr. Loomis too, though, because hell, man, he was there. He was there all the time to try to stop him, and you could tell like he wanted to help him even up to part 5. He was still trying to talk him down, trying to help him as much as he could, and Michael wasn't having it. He just wasn't having it.
Is
And then
this Halloween?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
And then in 6, if you saw the producer's cut, which I'm sure you have, John, that's even more crazy twist with Dr. Loomis. It's like, that's messed up.
And that's the thing, man. I think, and deep down, I think Dr. Loomis was trying to save him as much as he wanted to kill him. He was also trying to save him too.
Well, I think he's trying to save him through, the proper silver bullet treatment.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good question, though. Very good question.
Yeah, it is a very good question.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question by Hector, who threw that out there. So I'm surprised.
So, what you got, Donald? What's one of your
I'm kidding. I froze for a second. It was like, it's always like in the worst spot, too. You're like going, and then you freeze.
It looked like Kevin's background from
yeah. There. That froze like that.
What's one of your multiversal ideas, Donald?
Another good plot twist is 13 Sins, says George. I don't know that one either.
13 Sins.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
13 Ghost.
I thought of one that kind of... I was just trying to think of wackadoo ones that would make me laugh. And one of them that popped up in my head was, what if Norman Bates in Psycho, what if he openly cross-dressed? Like, what if he just acted like his mom, like, straight up from the beginning?
Out in the open.
Yeah. Yeah. What if he was just, then you would be less inclined to believe probably anything he was saying, and would therefore be more distrusting of him, and maybe put, like, a chair underneath the doorknob or something, so when it went to go turn or something, it would stop it, and you could... Or maybe you would just be like, you know what? I don't need to sleep here. I'm just going to go down the road just a little bit further,
I'll go to the Sheraton. I'm going to go to the Sheraton instead, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. It's, it was a different time back then, so it would be, I would imagine, quite shocking to walk into a hotel or motel and just see somebody
See this dude.
in drag behind the desk. Just,
But that's a super good point, though. You're right about that, because had he have actually done that in that time, somebody probably killed him anyway because he was different from everybody else.
yeah,
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's a good point.
yeah, and thereby unknowingly would have saved a bunch of people's lives. Isn't that weird?
It's true.
That's weird. I like to think about,
The
like
irony-
being a complete piece of shit and murdering somebody because they're different might have saved. That's fucked up. That's fucked
Yeah,
up.
the irony. I know the irony of it all.
Or if that, now, see, if that movie would have went down that way, then all of a sudden at the very end, the little window would have lit up, and Mother would have really been up there. They'd be like, "Oh shit, this is how you make a sequel." It's really up there the whole time, you know?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's how.
Now you basically have a Friday the 13th type situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Mother was interesting. I love the voice, man. Like that's some creepy shit. I don't care.
Norman.
Exactly. It's like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good, Mrs. Bates. I'm good.
You know what was kind of cool though? If you guys ever, did you guys ever watch the Bates Motel show? Did you ever watch the
Oh, I
series?
loved
No,
it.
I didn't get a chance
Loved
to.
it.
I
Yeah.
heard it was good.
So you know what? I don't want to mess this up for you, but I don't think it'll give it away too much. But like how they said that Norman was into like taxidermy and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that made so much more sense to the movie itself, because that's how Mother would have been in that damn. You had to have pulled her out of the grave and did something with her, right?
Right.
So it just made so much more sense, man. Like you watch that and it's like, damn, that kind of.
They did a good job. They did a really good job. The only thing and I don't even know, you know what I mean? Like was the ending. Like the ending, of course, they kind of, they gave it a different ending than what you would have gotten from the films, because that didn't lead into the films. It just kind of bookended.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Beginning and ending, and I was okay with it, to be honest, as its own separate entity, but also feeding into the film and giving you a little more backstory and fleshing it out. And the guy that they got to play Norman Bates in it, Freddie Highmore, I think is his name.
Yeah, that's it.
Say. Yeah, such a nice guy, really nice guy. I got to meet him at the Bates Motel, on the Universal lot.
So is the inside like furnished, or is it just like
it's
okay.
the only area that's furnished is the front desk. Like the front desk, when you walk in, it's there. It's set up a little bit to look like a front desk, but once you go into the other like motel rooms, no. That's like it's pretty barren in a lot of ways. Yeah, like the front desk, and then when you go off to the side room, there's a tub there, and then there's like a cardboard cutout of Norman with a knife behind the shower curtain. And that's all they have. And then the rest of the motel is just all open space. It's just all open space inside. Yeah, it's just there's no separate rooms or anything.
Normally tour that stuff? Is that something that people get to see a lot, or
no? I mean, no. It like you really don't. You take the tour. When you take the Universal tour, they take you on a tram and they drive you past it. You never get to go in. The only way you get to go in is if you do special things like this, which I was fortunate enough to be a part of one of those for your considerations, and it happened to be for Bates Motel. And so they were like, well, duh, we're going to do it on the Universal lot. So they had a screening down in the Universal screening rooms, and then they took us on the tram up. And I swear to God, I was on a tram with the guy that did the voice of Yakko in Wacko, I think, or was it? I think it was
Animaniacs?
It was Yakko, yeah, from the Animaniacs. I was on a tram with him and Ron Jeremy.
Oh wow!
I'm a good pal, Ron.
What an interesting tram ride up and back. Let me tell you, it was something special. So yeah, I had an interesting time there on the lot of at Bates Motel, just hanging out with Freddie and the gang, and freaking Ron Jeremy. Wow. Yeah.
All right, but confession time is. You can fire me for this one.
Uh-oh.
I've never seen Psycho.
Oh my
Oof.
god.
Ouch. All right, man. You got some homework.
Seriously.
100%. Got to watch at least the
That-
original.
I
least
bet you
watch-
like Hitchcock, 1960.
But
Yeah,
I've seen
man.
other Hitchcock films. I
Yeah,
just haven't seen Psycho.
I haven't seen
Never
all
a
of
big
Hitchcock's either.
horror guy.
So if I said the infamous shower scene, you-
I know what that is. I know what that is because I've seen enough of the movies that talk about it and all that
Right.
stuff. Like I
I
just
would
never
hope, yeah.
sat through the whole movie. I've seen parts of it. I just haven't seen the whole movie.
That's okay. I think you should still watch it because I think it's very good. But honestly, if you watched Bates Motel instead and you watched all, I think it was 5 seasons of that, I'd be just as happy, probably happier, because that's really good. Like it's
Maybe I'll watch that. I'm looking for a new show.
it is a great show, hands down. It's a very very good show. I think I was watching parts of that back when I was watching parts of Merlin too. Actually, interestingly enough, so I was kind of crossing back and forth. Right now, I'm watching Dexter, New Blood, and Bad Monkey. And
How
I'm
do you
I love Bad Monkey. Bad Monkey's great.
going back and forth on that.
What
What was
like
it,
Dexter Newblood?
John? Dexter, New Blood. I'm enjoying it. I like the fact that they've introduced Harrison and he's part of that world, but I'm confused as to how they're expecting us to be okay with it only being 1 season. But then I looked it up and I guess it got canceled.
Yeah. So let me try to. So I'm trying to remember how this happened. It did. They were supposed to pick it up again. There was talk of making, and I don't want to. See, I don't want to because you haven't finished it yet. have you?
Right. No, but I do know a spoiler. But because I was reading it, why was it only 1 season? But I guess they are talking about next year having
Yeah.
a new one where it takes up
Yeah.
after this last one, and they're also
they're
working on the prequel too.
Yes. And he's gonna do the voiceover again for the prequel.
Yeah.
I think Christian Slater's playing the dad in that series.
Okay.
And there's the younger version, Dexter, and then they're supposed to be like you said. I think it's next year. They are picking up from New Blood, which they haven't said how they're going to do it, what they're going to do, or whatever. But they said they are picking up from that, so that's
Yeah.
going to be interesting. Once
Yeah.
you see everything that happens, you'll feel the same way.
I'll tell you what, Clancy Brown, creeping me out, man. He's creeping me
Dude,
out.
he's underrated as shit. Like
He is.
even from I just watched Pet Cemetery 2 earlier, and he was creepy in that.
I'm
He's
going
just a creepy dude.
and Highlander too.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I'm
he's Mr. Crap. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like come on, man, you know.
they're doing a stage play for a children's benefit out here in LA in November, and it's a Christmas Carol, and Clancy Brown's in it, and there's like a meet and greet afterwards, and I got tickets for it. So
Oh, dude, because he doesn't do stuff like that.
no, so I'm gonna be all over Clancy. I'm gonna be all over you, buddy.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Like,
That's cool.
I'm like, remember that time? He'll be like,
Man, I'm jealous now, dude. That's cool.
Yeah, my
man.
favorite Clancy Brown performance was that one, the circus show.
Carnival.
Yeah.
He's
Carnival,
fantastic in
Yeah, he was
Carnival.
amazing in it, yeah.
Yes, sir. He's so good in that. He was great in I think it was only in 1 episode too of the Headless Horseman, the Fox series.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
called that. What did they call it? They called it. What's the name of the town or something? What was it called?
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, Sleepy Hollow. Thank you. Yeah, it was called Sleepy Hollow. Was the name of the series. But he was in that. He played a cop. I think he was a good guy in it, and he was only in 1 episode, but he was freaking great in that. I think everything he's been in, he is great. He played the voice of Lex Luthor in Superman the Animated Series. Fantastic job. He was in Earth 2. He did a great job. You know, everything he's in, he does solid work. So that's obviously that's why he keeps working. You know, that's why you keep seeing him pop up and everything. And the best part about this, John, is he's also in the same cast with Ron Perlman. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
So hopefully I get a Clancy Ron sandwich.
dude, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Hopefully.
that's real.
We'll see. Yeah, George Wilkins says Mr. Crab. Yeah, he was the voice of Mr. Crab, too.
Yes.
Director Ward says, fun fact, Dexter did have a video game. Don't know it.
Really? I never knew that. I'll be damned.
Not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I never heard that. Though. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
No, it must not be Yakko then. It must be Wacko Ward, because if Rob Paulson did Yakko, then Wacko is the guy I'm thinking of, and he's the dude that always wears the like jacket with all the like it's not glitter, it's like all the diamond studded things or whatever all over it, and the glasses and stuff, and he's got the mullet going on. I can't ever remember his name, but he's a cool dude, fucking cool as hell.
Wait, wasn't Rob Paulson? Wasn't he Raphael?
Yes, I believe so. I believe he was also Raphael. Yeah, he did the voice of Raphael. Mm-hmm. Great character, voice character actors. Yeah, definitely.
He was also Donatello. He was Raphael in the original, and then Donatello in the new one.
Yep. And let's go ahead and let's see. Kevin, John, Chris, any of you guys have another one that you want to throw out real quick?
John?
All right, I'll go again. All right, so obviously y'all know I'm a huge Michael Myers fan, so it was the what if Michael Myers never escaped from Smith's Grove Sanitarium. All right. So he still would have killed his sister. He just would have been put into the sanitarium and he never would have escaped, right? So he still have Dr. Loomis in there that obviously tried for 15 years to get him to try to do something, right? And he never spoke. He never did this and that. But if he wasn't, I don't know, man, like, I think he just would have tormented the people in there because he was already obviously crazy. But Dr. Loomis, I think, added to that as much as, like, I don't want to say tormented him, but trying to get him to speak, trying to get him to do this, trying to get him to do that. Do you think he just would have started killing people in the asylum? I mean, like, how does that work? How do you do that? What happens with
why did he kill his sister?
Is
that ever said?
Contact with? No, I mean, so I guess yes and no. So if you watch 78, obviously they don't really give you a backstory about it. He just one night grabbed the knife, went upstairs, put on the mask, killed his sister. If you go into
Curse of Thorn.
Yeah, if you go into Curse of Thorn, then you find out that Mrs. Blankenship is telling the little boy that one night little Mikey Myers heard the voices and it told him to kill his sister. So I guess if you go deeper into the series, yes, they kind of throw that out there. But essentially, no, because in all reality, John Carpenter just kind of made the movie, didn't want to make a sequel. He didn't care that there was no backstory. It just kind of happened. So, like, when he got out of there, and that's where, like, he starts stalking these young girls and stuff. So you don't even know until the second one that is even his sister, because they kind of threw that in there because they had to have a connection somewhere to make it make sense.
Wild film has been around for a long time, relatively long time, right?
46 years.
That it was the late 70s that, like, the genre of this type of film was created. Like, that idea.
So if you look at that, I want to say the first movie that kind of gave us that little bit of, like, Halloween was Black Christmas.
Black Christmas, 74, 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was like our big introduction to that type of, like, stuff. But then, of course, John Carpenter did and put his twist to it. So, yeah, it's like
50 years
I guess
of stuff.
I feel like the that was when the slasher films were kind of born, I guess you can say, because Michael Myers obviously is a slasher.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you guys think? Like, if he wouldn't have escaped from the asylum, how do things go then? How does it play out? Who does he kill? Who's his main target if it's not Jamie Lee Curtis? Who does it become then?
I mean, would they have, if he didn't escape, I mean, would they have just kept him super sedated? Like, to the point where he's just like a vegetable, and then it's the most boring movie ever? You know what I mean? Like,
I think it could have been twisted. They could have transferred, this thing to another person. If he was all locked up, he can't get out. Maybe someone else takes on that persona.
Well, is Jamie Lee Curtis related to him or not? I need to know this.
So again,
depending on where you're going.
So here's the beauty of Halloween. It's almost like there's several timelines to the story, right? So Halloween 1, Halloween 2 are connected to each other. So that you find out after the first Halloween that at the very end, getting towards the end of Halloween 2, that his parents adopted her after he had already been committed and all this other shit. And so they say he didn't know about it or whatever, but he did know. Like, obviously went after her for a reason. So it makes you kind of make sense with that. Halloween 3 happens, completely different movie, obviously. Then you have 4, 5, and 6, which were basically the Jamie Lloyd Thorne story that kind of started happening, and it took its own turn. And then you get to H2O, which was basically the sequel to Halloween from 78, just 20 years later. There's a lot of timelines that jump and go, and then Resurrection happens, and it kind of you would kind of go Halloween 78, you would go H2O, and then you would go Resurrection, which kills off Laurie Strode. Like, you're like, holy shit, wow, like, you didn't expect him to do that, right?
Right.
Then, of course, Rob Zombie took over, did his thing. And I always say, like, as much as it was very white trash and like, vulgar, the backstory was cool to get that because it gave you a lot of stuff about Michael Myers that you kind of... Rob has that way of making you feel bad and sympathetic for, like, a killer.
Yeah, I liked it better than this new trilogy, whatever they were doing, man.
You know, I really liked... I thought 2018 was fun. I liked Kills. A lot of people didn't like Kills, but I thought it was cool. Ends was a tough pill to swallow, man. It's taken me a long time to really...
I know, you're still trying to process that, I know.
And it's been, what, like 2 years now? And it's tough, man. It's a tough pill to swallow on that one, because it was... I think I see what they were trying to do, but then they did it, and it was like, now what do you do? I mean, granted, that was their portion of the series. They say,
they're ending it, yeah.
George is saying that the cult would have broke him out.
Yeah, if you're going by that. Maybe.
The only thing is, though, would they have done that early? Like, okay,
would the cult have developed? Yeah, would they were.
His parents, if you watch the original movie, when he comes out of the house after stabbing his sister, I think his parents don't give a shit. Mom puts her hands in her pocket. She's like chilling. Like, she's like, oh, you know, Michael's tried to kill his sister before. Oh shit, this time he did it. You're like, they don't care, right? Would they have went to go see him at the asylum? Maybe he would have killed one of them. You know, like, I don't know. Something would have had to have happened to make the movie interesting if he would not have gotten out of there. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Like, how do you do? You know, like, I don't know. It's a weird what if, I guess. I don't know.
Can somebody answer for me, because I've never seen the movies? How does he get, like, the mask? Where's the mask? The skin mask come from?
Oh, so you're okay. So, like, the mask basically, if you watch the original movie, there's a scene where Laurie and Annie are going to babysit, and they stop to talk to Sheriff Brackett, which is Annie's dad in the movie, and he tells them that, you know, some kid basically robbed the hardware store. He just took some masks, some rope, and some knives. So that's where he essentially got it from, just a random hardware store.
Okay.
And they kind of do the same thing in part 4, and they show him actually steal the mask from the drugstore, which is kind of cool. You actually see it happen.
Okay, so it's not a person's face. I thought it was like a person's face that he was wearing.
Oh no, you're thinking of Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been seen any of these movies, so I don't know.
Oh man, you gotta do some.
Slasher films are not my thing.
Oh man. Oh man. Having the big one.
Sorry.
I got another good one, I think.
Days
later, what if the animal rights activists weren't so stupid and they would have just listened to the lab technician and not released the freaking rage virus monkey?
Oh, in
I feel like the movie.
What was that? 28 days?
Yeah, 28 days. You're at the beginning. Hey, you don't guys know what you're doing. You know what you're doing, and then you let the rage monkey out, and then it all hell breaks.
I mean, it might have started slower then.
Later, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It still would have happened.
I still think it would have happened. It would have been some dumbass doctor that went in thinking that, you know, they would have been like developing a bond with the monkey and would have figured, oh my god, you know, we figured out the monkey, we've cured the monkey, and then the son of a bitch still turns on him and bites him or her, and boom, there you go. And then it just would start a different way. I think it would still go. But it would have been maybe a slightly slower rollout, but still it would have gone faster than anybody anticipated. So we'd still hit the same mark, I think.
Here's part of my twist to add to it. You know how they do these experiments on animals and whatnot to develop, you know, vaccines or other type of drugs.
Yeah.
That's how it would have happened. You would have distributed all these different drugs and vaccines for something.
Oh,
and that's how
like maybe a pandemic.
Yes, there we go. And that's how it starts.
You know, that was Kevin, I'm gonna be real with you. That was one of my biggest fears during the beginning of COVID. And I was one of the last holdouts of people that actually did get the inoculation, got the jab. I was one of the last holdouts because I legitimately in my brain had convinced myself that this is how the zombie apocalypse starts.
I was waiting for it too, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. I was waiting for it. Yeah.
Yeah. It
Legit.
still could happen. You know what I mean? I could develop a taste for human flesh right now.
We had talks of like murder hornets and all this
Oh, it
weird
tastes
shit happened
delicious.
throughout that time. And I'm like, listen, man, zombies are like the least of the worries at this point. Like, we might as well. We thought Jeepers Creepers was coming at some point too. Like, it was a messed up time. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
all
It really was.
we could think of, we thought was coming. Man.
Right.
That was
So,
Yep.
so what, John? Yeah, like bats and axes and guns in your basement, ready to go.
Man, look, I got a couple of knives hanging on the wall there and like an axe and shit. Like, I'm ready, but I'm
Yeah.
not gonna tell you if I'm survived or not. But I got some stuff.
Well, a little harder in California to buy a gun, so I just started to like. I have batarangs with the metal ones, with sharp edges that I could use as throwing knives. I also had one of those, like they would use in the riots. They would use that baton and it would come out. You'd go.
Oh yeah.
I bought one of those and would walk around town at night and be like, I'm gonna bust somebody's head. Somebody better not fuck with me. I'll bust somebody's head. Because you had to wait in line. You had to wait. I can't wait to tell stories to people in the next 5 years that had no involvement in any of this shit. That we used to have to wait in line to get into the store. Because they would only let a certain amount of people in there at a time. Because they didn't want them to get close enough to each other.
Yeah.
You would go get groceries, and it would take you like 3 hours to get groceries because you had to wait.
You know what's really sad though, that I feel like, and just because we're on this subject, like, as messed up as that was, we're still like getting implications of it today, because it's like people are still scared to death to leave their house. Or if they do, they're still wearing masks or like just weirded out.
Yeah.
Like,
well, some people couldn't take it. Some people couldn't take the inoculation, so they're still they've never had it, and they're just pent up in their home and they're scared to death. And I think that's one of the saddest things. It always bothers me that a lot of people have not lived their full life because not because of a fear, but because of a reality. That could kill them if they're immune compromised.
It's just sad how so much has changed. Like, I mean, hell, man, you can't even go to Walmart all night anymore. Not around here, you can't. Because they close.
I know. It used to be 24 hours. Now they close at like 10 or 11. Yeah, it's bullshit.
Wow.
Total bullshit.
Weekends now. Like, the gym closes at 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock and 7 o'clock on the weekends. Why? For what? But it's open 24 hours Monday through Thursday. Why though? Like, for what? It's so weird. And like, I don't know. It's weird shit.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's really what it is. You're right.
Yeah. Yep. They realize that, we already have these people. Now we can do whatever we want. So we can save money. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what a zombie apocalypse would be profiteering. It would be be the guy that hoarded sanitizer and then's trying to sell it for $20, $30 a bottle or whatever. It's that kind of shit.
Yep.
Zombie be gone. It's spray. It's a spray. You just spray it. And it's just
Lysol with a fancy logo.
It's like bleach water and it's in an orange bottle.
Right.
If you get it, you get it. George Wilkins says, by the way, Zombie Apocalypse Protocol is a part of CDC and is in the Amazon policy agreement for customers. I can believe that. Amazon, out of everybody, Amazon would profit the most. They did during the pandemic. They made
They sure did.
a bazillion dollars during the
They
pandemic.
sure did.
A bazillion.
DoorDash.
Yeah, that's how DoorDash became like
Grubhub.
they used the bully technique. They came in and they're like, we're gonna take this much percentage, and we're gonna allow you to be on our app so you can deliver food and survive. It's like they literally did nothing but create this app. It's just like Airbnb and Uber and Lyft. Those are all things that literally those companies don't do anything but create an app.
So like, all right, I have a question since you brought that up, just because like,
yeah,
I know this applies to like going to a restaurant and some people are just rough looking, or you could tell they're not like a more cleanly person. Yeah, you don't see what everybody's doing with your food, obviously behind this wall, what have you, whatever. But if you get into like the Grubhub type of thing and like the DoorDash and stuff, you ever see some of those people that bring you your food? No offense to anybody that does it, I'm not knocking them for it. But like, how do you know they're not? You've seen videos where these guys have been eating people's shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would have eaten a fry. Totally, I would have eaten a fry.
Yeah. It's how like you didn't get your shit, or like you didn't pay for your stuff, and they lie on people and stuff. Like,
yeah,
I've never gotten it like delivered to me, no, I don't think I'd be comfortable doing it. I just don't think I would trust.
Well, and a lot of
certain
times they'll just like as we found out, they would just leave your food outside and not tell you,
Yeah,
and then
Exactly. Know about
you
it.
wouldn't get a notification, and then you'd be like,
Right.
"What the hell's going on?" And 20 minutes later, you go outside and there's your cold food, and
Right.
you're like, "Oh,
By
okay,
that time, salted it and shit. Like I'm not eating that. You know,
Yeah.
like hell no.
exactly."
Yeah, no. Like no way. I'll
Yep.
take my chances. Like I've seen waiting, and I know what happens back there.
Oh
I'll
my
take
God.
chances.
And John, having worked in a kitchen as long as I had, 11 years, by the way, rating is about 75% truth.
Oh, I see. I knew it.
Yeah.
There's been times I know I said this in front of the waitress the one time because like she was kind of snippy, and I like, but like the stuff wasn't right. And I don't like to be that guy, but like obviously if you're paying for stuff, you want it to be, you know. And I looked at my girlfriend. I said, "They're definitely spitting on our food right now. Like 100% spitting."
Yeah, you have to accept that. And Hector has a question. He says, "Did John trust pizza delivery drivers? Is the uniform the selling point for him?"
It's not even a uniform. It's just that, listen, man. Like I'm not trying to knock anybody, but like if you come looking like the happy meth man, I don't want you touching it. Simple as that. Like I mean, you got 1, 2 talking about, hey man, pizza's $12. Put that shit back in the car and go back. And
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And Ward says he trusts Pizza Joe's for his events.
Absolutely, because they're clean people, and I've known them, and they've been working with us for the whole 14 years we've been doing this shit here. So 100% trust those guys.
Yeah.
100%.
And so they prove otherwise, of course.
And there you go.
Yeah.
And I think,
Absolutely.
honestly, pizza's really, it's hard to fuck up. You know, even a bad
Sure about
pizza's
that?
pretty good for the most part. It's hard to
Unless
fuck
it's
up.
Little Caesars.
I still enjoy Little Caesars. I don't know, man. Like during the pandemic,
Too.
I could walk down the street and you could go in still because they had the pizza portal thing, and you just went in, you grab it out of you put the code in and you grab it. And it was just so convenient. And then what we would do is we would doctor it up. We would just add extra things like hatch chilies, barbecue sauce, extra garlic, some more butter, whatever we wanted. We made those pizzas good. Like you just gotta plus them up, you know, so to speak.
True. Very true.
And how dare you speak ill of your Michigan pizza company, sir?
I know. In Michigan, it's different. In Michigan, it's actually really good. But everywhere else, it tastes like cardboard. It's just weird. It's weird. I think it's a franchise thing. I don't know. But in Michigan, it's a different brand. It's a different breed there.
I've always liked the Detroit style pizza.
Yeah.
You know, I've always enjoyed that. I think Detroit style pizza is very underrated, and I've seen that it's starting to become more of a thing. In fact, Kevin, since you're the only one else out here that's on here, in Burbank, I just saw a video there's a pizza place across from the AMC 16 that does Detroit style pizza, and they'll put fresh ricotta and hot honey on it, and that sounds bomb as hell.
Edge
Never
is the
had
best part of that pizza.
Oh yeah,
So it is-
absolutely.
Is that what a Detroit pizza is? Like ricotta cheese instead of like? Is that
No,
what
it's
that's?
No.
it's a square, like a rectangle pizza.
Yeah, and it's a little thicker. It's kind of like a deep dish, like you
It's
get a deep
like
dish. pizza.
like a pan pizza almost, except
Yeah.
but it's there's less crust. I mean, there's crust, but it's different. It's like the
Part of the crust
sauce
is the
is over the whole
cheese
thing.
that is
Yeah.
crusted
yeah.
up. So you get that nice crust cheese at the end in your bite. So crust is a delight to eat at the end. It's not a chore. It's a pleasurable thing.
Yeah.
Nice. That
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. It's good stuff. There's a lot of Detroit style pizza in Ohio too, by the way.
I'm gonna have to look into that because I want to try that now.
Yeah, it's really good. Ward says there's a pizza joint in my town that tastes like concrete. What's it called? Mortar pizza? Is it what would it be? Stone pizza? I don't know. That sounds
No,
terrible.
It does.
Yeah. George says once again, proof Little Caesars is a glorified frozen pizza. I'll tell you what, you have a Tombstone pizza and a Little Caesars pizza. Man, I don't know. Tombstone pizzas, although I do think that they now have a self-rise. Once the onset of the self-rise frozen pizza, I think really forced a lot of pizza joints to have to elevate. Because, like, you could get a DiGiorno or a Freshetta pizza, and, you know, like, I used to get that. I used to get the frozen pizza and, like, a gallon of chocolate milk, and I'd invite my friends over for, like, movie night, and we'd watch movies, and we put that in the oven, and we get that big pizza. Because I lived out in the country, And there was only one pizza place that would deliver to us, and they weren't that great. So it was like, well, it's either we get it and drive it back and then be instantly ready to eat, or we get that pizza, that DiGiorno or that Freschetta. I preferred Freschetta, by the way. And we would, wait, and then when we started the movie, we'd put it in, and then like 20 minutes into the film, you have this hot, fresh pizza that you could enjoy, and you just plussed it up. Which is what we did, country boys, we did what we did to have survive, That's just the way it is. George says, if you have to doctor it up, it might as well be frozen. Yeah, I mean, to a point. Yeah, you're not wrong, George. I'm not going to argue with you there. Yeah, I mean, but you're also probably, I don't know, I could be wrong. George, you might live in LA. Where this summer it got to about 118 degrees. So who wants to turn on their frozen pizza oven, to heat up the pizza when it's 118 degrees out? You're going and you're getting something whether you like it or not. You're not turning on anything that creates heat inside your home.
Absolutely not.
He says he likes Red Baron frozen pizza. Oh, yeah, I remember Red Baron.
Not bad.
Red Baron's pretty solid. I always liked the breakfast. They had the French bread. Breakfast ones or whatever. Yeah, those are solid, man. Those are freaking good. You put a little hot sauce on that, and chef's kiss. You got some good stuff. Oh, you do? You live in LA? Well, you ain't turning on your oven. Come on, George. You ain't turning on, not when it's 118. You probably don't live in a valley. And you must have whole house air. So you're rich. You're a rich man, George. So George has money. There we go. Congratulations, George. You're rich. Thank you. I'm poor. This wall's made out of processed cheese.
Processed cheese.
Yeah, it's just molded processed cheese that I have here. That's how I live.
Well, it's good. If you're ever hungry, you can just lick it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anybody else have another one they want to throw out?
Sure, I'll throw one out.
We got about 10 minutes, and we're going to have to wrap it up. We didn't get to too many, which tells me,
It's all right.
that it's possible we'll have to do another one next time, next year maybe or something. We'll do a part 2 of What If, because this has been fun.
All right, I'm going to bring up another horror comedy instead of a straight-out horror.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about what happened if only one of the... Either Adam or Barbara from Beetlejuice died. Only what would happen if only one of them died? Anything change?
Boy, that's a good question. Let's think this through. Okay, so let's say it's Barbara that passes away, right? Okay, Adam's in the grieving state. What I think would happen would be instead of what's her name, Lily, the daughter. Right, Lily? Was it Lily? Lydia. Thank you, Lydia. Yeah. Instead of Lydia being coerced into bringing forth Beetlejuice, it would be Adam with his grief.
Yep.
In trying. So it would be the sequel, kind of in a way. But
then we want to get that whole storyline about Beetlejuice trying to marry Lydia to become.
No, he would try to marry Barbara.
Absolutely.
That's what would happen.
Barbara's dead, though.
I know, which is why he can marry her, because she's dead and he's dead and Adam is not. This would bring a very interesting dynamic.
See, I like that. Adam would eventually have had to have conjured Beetlejuice to try to die himself so he could be with Barbara. But in reality, Beetlejuice wants to hook up with Barbara.
Right.
Dude, I'm digging this. I'm digging this.
Yeah. So, and then it could be, we could even put a fun spin on it. And so Adam tries to kill himself and Beetlejuice prevents it.
Yes. Yes.
And then he becomes more of a protector, but for dubious means,
Which is something he would do.
He would totally do. He's a dick. Yeah, he would totally do that. I like where this is going. This is good.
But would the Dietz family would have moved into that house, or would they just be obsolete, basically? Would they just be nothing? Would you need them, technically?
I think that let's just say that she was the moneymaker, or that he stopped working if she wasn't, and he wasn't able to afford the house, so he brought them in as a rental, and he just rented one room, the attic or whatever, out of it, and they all thought he was weird, but they moved in because they were falling on hard times or something with the dad was having trouble financially, or they were on the run for something, and then they moved in there. And then
real life him now, but yeah, it makes sense.
You create a more like a kind of a Schitt's Creek dynamic that goes in there. Yeah.
All right, did that. Did that.
Yeah.
But that would it be factored into maybe helping Barbara with the Beetlejuice problem? Since
I think she would help Barbara and Adam. Yeah, she would help Adam try to cope with his grief and try to talk him out of those tendencies. I think she would see how silly not wanting to live would be when it's put in her face from somebody else, and I think she would be the voice of reason for life. So
see, I like that because then it teaches her a lesson also, because she was very like a down type of character. I like that. See, man, that's a damn good scenario.
Yeah. Well done, Chris. Well done. Yeah.
Very good one.
Let's see.
It's fresh in my mind since I just watched the sequel. So
Ward says, "All right, dudes, I'm gonna head out. It's been a pleasure, Bouncer. I'll see you at Come Play With Us."
Yes, that's our next show.
Nice.
On 19th, yes.
And George says, "Nah, I'm broke and stripping comics tap my pocket." Oh, you strip for comics?
I mean, hey, whatever you got. Hey, man, 20's 20. It's 20, man. Whatever you got to do.
I want that X-Men one.
Beat picks, stripping, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, Joe. Yeah, you do your thing, man. You do your thing. Hector says, "Leprechaun versus Chucky. Who wins?"
Leprechaun.
No, I think it's Chucky.
No, I think Leprechaun has more bags of tricks.
Well, here's the problem: is Leprechaun's like a living person, or not a living person, a living thing, and Chucky's a doll. So I think that Chucky could take more damage.
All right, there's a lot of factors that I would put into this.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so I would say Chucky, but I say it because watching the TV series also, he killed a lot of people in that series, man, and I mean a lot. Like, if he's not the new top slasher as far as kills, like within the last couple years, because I know he's beat Jason's numbers by now. He had to have. Michael Myers beat Jason's numbers, so technically he's actually the top guy. But man, but they also showed a I don't want to say a human side of Chucky, but to the fact where his let's just say, have you guys watched the series? I don't want to ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
I think it's like one episode.
So that I won't go into major detail, but I'll just say his relationship with Damballa or whatever doesn't. There's a point where it doesn't work out too well. So you get to see a different side of Chucky. So yes and no, but I would still go with Chucky on that. As far as, I mean, Leprechaun's got his little bag of tricks and his gold, but unless you really steal his gold coins, he doesn't give a shit. You know, like he's like whatever.
That's true.
And what's Chucky gonna do with his gold coins? Nothing, because he's not buying shit. You know, like he don't care.
Right.
You know, like I'd have to go with Chucky on that one for me.
What if, weirdly enough, it became a symbiotic thing and Chucky needed somebody in order to survive and therefore protected the person that had taken the coins? So he became more of a protector than a villain.
Okay.
And it would put him...
I mean, in a way, he kind of... he was after Andy for so long. I mean, he didn't really protect him, but that was like his guy, we'll say. Like, he wanted Andy. He himself wanted Andy. So, yeah, no, you're right. He does have that person he sticks to, you know?
Yeah.
That's true.
There's a loyalty to him, weirdly enough, as crazy as he is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting scenario. I couldn't say for sure. I do like, if you're going the supernatural aspect, well, you have more of a fantasy supernatural versus a dark supernatural, and which one wins out in those instances, you know?
That might be a good topic for another show, too, like some verses.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned it. I actually wrote that down.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wrote that down.
Yep. That might be a topic actually later in the month, everybody. So keep tuned for that.
Let me know, because I'm ready for that. That'd be fun.
And by the way, at the end of this podcast, we will be giving away a bottle of more Cowbell hot sauce from Half's Hot Sauce. Go to halfshotsauce.com. Type in the coupon code Donald Hiccups for 10% off your order, guys. That coupon still exists. It's still out there in the ether. Donald Hiccups gets you 10% off on your order. And let me tell you something. Okay, so while I was home, Brian, he's a close friend, He hit me up. I hit him up. I said, I'm in town for a very short time. And he's like, okay, let's meet up. I meet up with him. He's got 2 bottles of experimental hot sauce for me. What are they? One is a sauerkraut hot sauce.
Really?
It's fucking phenomenal, John. I put it on my eggs in the morning. The next day, it was so good with a little bit of eggs and toast. Oh, my God.
It's really good.
And then he's like, a friend of mine gave me a huge bag of plums, and we're like, they're going to go bad soon. And he's like, God damn it, now you're going to make me make a hot sauce. So he made a plum ginger soy hot sauce. And it was phenomenal. It was my parents' favorite one. And then, what's that?
What did the sauerkraut one taste like? How was the taste of that?
Boy, it tasted like
Describe.
Yeah, like kraut. It tasted like kraut. It tasted like sauerkraut, but hot, like a hot sauerkraut is what it tasted like.
See, now, we used to have a place here that actually, sadly enough, it's not here anymore, but it used to be right close to the house. It was called Stanley's, and they made like he was famous for his hot dogs. I don't know what the hell the recipe was, but he would. So first and foremost, they would come in like the tin foil. So I don't know if that was like the secret or what, man. But
yeah,
with always the sauerkraut, the little bit of hot sauce that he put on there, and he put like fresh red peppers, and they were like the best hot dogs ever.
Yeah,
I used to have them as a kid. Like that kind of reminds me of something like that.
These would be really good on a kielbasa or a hot dog. This hot kraut would be good because it doesn't have that apple twang that a lot of people like. That sweet.
Yeah.
It's sour. It's sour because I always found hot dogs have a natural sweetness to them, as is on the palate. So putting that sour kraut, that it just works with a nice heat. Oh man, it's so good. And then it came. Yes, yeah. I think in like probably the next 4 to 5 months he's going to come out with it. He was testing it, so I had a tester bottle. I also had a tester bottle of a strawberry hot sauce. And interestingly enough, I made myself a McMuffin, an English muffin with sausage and egg, and I put mayonnaise on both sides of the English muffin. And then I was like, let me just try this. So I poured a little of the strawberry out and I dipped it, and like that sweet heat just blended in with that mayonnaise so perfectly and elevated that sausage and that egg to a different level. It was so good. My God. So I finished half the bottle already on that one, and that's the only one I brought back with me. The other 2 I left with my parents to continue to taste test, and it sounds like they have. So if you get on the train with Half's hot sauce, he's never going to let you down, guys. That's the moral of the story. I'll throw another one out there real quick just because. Let's see what we got here. This one I thought was hilarious. I wasn't high, but you definitely couldn't tell if I wasn't. So Jeff Goldblum's character in The Fly. You know how he melds with a fly, like a fly gets into the transporter and he becomes part fly. What if it was a dung beetle?
Oh.
And he had the compulsion to roll up his shit. Just not harm anybody in any way whatsoever, but he just.
What do you call that? Is this called the dung? Like, is that the name of the movie now?
Dung, yeah, that would be it. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. That'd be something.
Yeah, he'd go to your house at a party or something. He's like, "You gonna go to the bathroom?" "Yeah." "1 or 2?" "What?" "1 or 2?" "Oh, it's 2. Why?" "Okay, all right. Can you just shit in my hand?" "What?" "Shit in my hand."
Oh, God.
Save some time.
Like, this is dialogue you can see Jeff Goldblum doing. Like, it's the best part of it.
Yeah.
You can see that.
It's just shit in my hand, man.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. All the porta johns have been broken into. It's just. It's a mess. It's a mess. Oh man, yeah. So there's that. I wasn't high. I was just having a good time when I was thinking of these. Anybody else on one more before we go on this?
Oh man, I don't know. You guys got some good ones. Go for it, man. Go for it.
I was thinking about, what if Maureen Prescott had just embraced Roman Bridger when he came to visit her.
Maureen
Well-
is the mother of Sydney.
Of Sidney Prescott. You know how it all begins, how her mom gets killed, and
All right, but let me ask you this though: would she
Sure.
still messed around with Billy's dad though?
yes.
Well, then I feel like the outcome would have been Billy still would have wanted his revenge, and then you got obviously the ending of that one where they kill him and Stu, and the mom would still have her revenge.
But here's a twist, though. Roman comes to help Sydney out and defend her.
Oh, see, but I feel like in true Wes Craven fashion,
Mm-hmm.
he would definitely, yeah, he'd be the savior of the day, but then like he'd turn around and be like, "Hello, Sydney," and he'd be like, "Oh shit, they did it again," you know, like they would just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like. That's just how they. But no, so yeah, I mean, it's a cool. I feel like yeah, he would help her, but I'd still feel like he'd be the asshole at the end, though.
Yeah.
In West Craven fashion, you know.
Yeah, I don't think too much would change. I think there'd still be a shitload of death, and it just
All right, fine.
Roman wouldn't be
Then-
involved.
Well, fine. The adultery doesn't occur. Then what?
So now you're saying now completely obsolete with Billy and all that stuff and everything else.
Yeah. The Billy's dad doesn't, mess
Well, I
with
think-
Sydney's mom.
I think that the compunction to kill is still going to be with Matthew Lillard's character, right?
Stu
Yeah.
Mocker? Stu
Stu.
Mocker still want to kill somebody?
Yeah, but he just
Yeah.
did it just to do it, right? He didn't have really any dog in the fight in the
Well,
hunt.
he was just a follower. He's just a dumb follower. That's all he was.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah.
anybody.
They made him out to be, but he wasn't. Like they made him out to be kind of like the stupid little like, oh, I'm just the sidekick. I don't know, man, but there was part of him. He was more, I think. In a way, I think he was a little crazier than Billy was.
He was probably
Yeah,
like
some ways,
writing
but
stuff
some
down, journaling, writing, stabbing people, drawing stuff, sick
I
things.
think most people would say Jamie Kennedy's character, but I feel like he was too much like the fool. Yes, he knew everything. Yes, he thought he knew everything. He was the man. He was like McDonald said, "Don't run up."
Oh, Randy. Oh, Randy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would. He was that guy that knew too much. So he was the one. Even when they blamed him in the movies, you knew damn well it wasn't him because he knew too much.
Yeah.
And that's
It was never going to be him. Yeah, he was such a cool character. It's a shame because if they would have kept going with him, I like how they brought him back to a point, and they brought his his sister to be part of it and stuff like that. That's great. I love that.
Yeah. Nephew and niece. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like if we'd have kept on that Jamie Kennedy train, we would have seen some really great things. And it's unfortunate that the sequel really did him dirty. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I think they shit the bed. Like I don't feel they've ever truly recovered from killing his character.
Yeah,
Really.
they admitted that. They knew they screwed up.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I feel like they kind of screwed up on these new ones too, though, in a way too, because now they got rid of their two main
yeah.
characters. in
Oh
these new
yeah,
ones.
yeah. The sixth,
Yeah.
I really liked the sixth one. It took place in New York, and then that whole controversy was so stupid because people are dumb. I read that social media post on Instagram, and there was nothing in there that I felt was inappropriate. It's just that people like the troll, and they scared the studio. They're freaking out. Oh my god, we can't have this.
I'll give them credit and say that, like, I feel like they ended 6 in a way that you could get rid of those characters.
You could.
She
Yeah.
came to terms with the fact that they did what they did. They got away. She let go of her dad in a sense by throwing the mask down. Okay, cool. If you would have put them in 7, I feel like they wouldn't have been the focal point. Obviously, the focal point now is Sydney again. But at what point does Sydney fucking go crazy and say, it's been me? Like, I'm done with this shit. Like, when does she go crazy? Because the girl's been around for a long time, man.
Yeah, almost
Right.
30 years. Yeah, no.
You know?
Well, I feel like you can't So I mean, we all thought Gail was gonna bite the dust, and that would have been fucking fine at this point. Because really, I mean, hashtag Dewey should have lived. They killed the wrong part of the couple.
You know what, though? Do you think he's really dead, though? Do you feel like he can be somebody that could be brought back, too, though?
Ow.
That could be part of the, I don't know. I always thought that. Like,
I
don't
mean,
know. There's-
they really didn't I mean, yeah,
I mean,
I guess he could.
it's like one of those things where he could have been part of this shit, too, and we just don't know until the big ha-ha, here it comes.
Yeah.
Because it's been, I don't want to say it's been lackluster. I enjoyed 5 and 6. But
Mm-hmm.
the reveals of the killers, albeit they were kind of cool stories the way they put them together, they were kind of lackluster at point too. Like you had 3 people, and it's like, well, shit, man, are we gonna get 4 and 5 and like a whole call of people the
Well,
next
the
time?
beginning
Yeah.
of
It's the whole
6,
town.
With the beginning of 6 with the fake, not the fake killers, but the killers that they killed off later, that was really cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
With
That
the
was
subway
well done.
scene and stuff, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Very
The
well
opening
done.
scenes.
They always had good openings. Always had good openings. They never really could
Absolutely.
close amazingly well, but they always had great openings, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Yeah. And with that, I guess we'll have a great closing. So I want to thank you all for being a part of tonight and listening and being a part of Rumble Pop Live. This has been the What If Horror Edition. I really thank you all for being active in the chats and stuff. Chucky knows magic, says George. They break. TV show doesn't count. Leprechaun's magic is more powerful, says Kevin. And Amish Film says, So it looks like Amish popped in real quick.
Well, what about the sauce thing?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. So we're closing out this this part of the live, but we are going to do the raffle now for the more cowbell. So Kevin, do you have that available, or do you want me to pull that?
What the
Like the wheel. The
Oh, I
spinner
got it.
wheel.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
So all we need for you to do is just to say you're here. So if you're here, just say here, and we'll enter you in for the raffle for the free hot sauce.
With a 9 out of 10, right?
A 9 out of 10 on the heat level. So if it's too hot for you and you don't want to enter, don't enter, because if you win, I'm gonna watch you have this hot sauce. Hector says, "Let me win the sauce, guys." Sammy says here. Amish says here. So it's Hector, Sammy, Amish. So
George,
far.
is he still around? Are
So
you still
far
there,
it's
George?
3. Amish is laughing. Janet's here.
Okay, Janet's here.
Oh, and by the way, shout out. He's not on right now, but Enrique had a birthday recently, so happy birthday,
Oh, yeah.
Enrique.
Yep, I wished a happy birthday the other day. Yep. Yes, sir.
George is here, by the way.
Okay, good.
What'd you say, John?
Mine's next Monday. I'm getting old, man.
Oof,
That's right. You're next
man,
Monday.
you're gonna be 40 next week.
I will take that in a heartbeat. Yes, thank you, sir.
You're
Thank
welcome. You're welcome.
By the way, is Enrique here, or were we just mentioning the fact that it was his birthday?
Yeah, I just mentioned the fact that it's his birthday. I just wanted to make sure that he knew, because he'll watch the replay.
Also, today is Louis' birthday.
Is it Louis' birthday today?
Yes, it is.
Did I wish him
happy?
I think I did wish him
wish-
happy birthday today. Yeah.
Yeah, I wished him happy birthday earlier today.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Louis. I forgot about that. Jesus. Yeah.
And also, Sammy was a couple weeks ago, so happy belated birthday to Sammy.
Oh, no, nobody cares about that. No.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, Sammy.
Wow.
Nobody cares. Yeah. When are we going out for your birthday, Sammy? Friday. Let's go Friday. Sammy, we're going out for your birthday on Friday. I just made us an appointment. Hang on. Yeah, reservation made. Okay, cool. We're good. There's for 6 of us. Sammy goes, "Wow, Donald. What? I made the reservation. What do you want?" Okay, I guess that's it. Kevin, put the names in. That's it.
All right.
Sammy's
those are
here
the 5.
too, because she says, "Wow." So, I guess
Yeah,
it's just
you
the
got
5.
Yeah,
There's
let's go for it.
13 people on, it says, but there's only 5. Okay, all right.
They're probably not interested.
They don't want the hot
in
sauce, yeah.
Yep. All right, let's spin the wheel and make the deal.
Yes.
All right, spin it. Spin it. You spin.
I'll
me
I'll
right
send
round,
John
baby, right
the winner.
Let me pay attention
Like
because
a
I got mine.
record, baby, right,
Not
right.
disturbed.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be hard, Kevin, to send it to him. He's using his phone.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay, let
Yeah,
me
yeah.
send it then again. I'll send it to the professor.
All right, send it to Chris. He's over there praying right now.
As he should. We all need to be doing that. All right. Wow, I can't believe this person won.
Wow.
Wow, you sound very excited about it. Okay.
All right,
Guess.
Chris, you got it.
I think I know who it might be. I don't know. I'm just taking a guess. I don't know.
You're probably wrong. I hate to say it.
Oh, damn. All right.
I could be wrong.
I'm going to say it's the last minute entry, but that's just my thought on that.
Hmm.
Oh, that. That's
Did Chris freeze?
Professor, did you freeze?
You're muted?
Is he frozen? Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm muted. I'm muted.
Okay.
Yes, so we got Amish is the winner.
I knew it. I knew it. Friggin' Amish pops into the last second, gets a hot sauce, steals it away from Hector. Sorry, Hector. Amish wins.
Say Hector.
Amish, well, you know, to be fair, Amish loves heat. He loves hot things, so this will be right up your alley, buddy. More cowbell.
There it is.
More cowbell hot sauce. I guess Amish is coming on Friday as well, Sammy, to your birthday thing. There we go. I'm putting it together. Sammy, me, Amish. Probably Kyle will come. Kyle will show up to anything.
I'll be there in spirit.
Chris will be there in spirit.
Me too.
Amish is coming over. All right. Well, enjoy, buddy. I'll get this to you, no problem. Thank you to everybody watching. Hector says, Amish, prepare your anus. Oh.
Oh, he says he's outside. He says it's outside your door.
God dang it, Donald, says Sammy. Sorry, Sammy. Friday has been planned. Set in stone now. Too bad. John, thank you again for being a part of this. You are, of course, welcome back any of the weeks this month for Halloween because we know this is the month of John Cataline.
Yes, it is.
This is
Really?
this is where you thrive, sir. And I'll give you one guess where I found. Let's see, do I have it here? Do I have it or did I stick it up my butt? It's up my butt, guys. Never mind. I think it's up my butt. Nope, it's right here. Where I got this, John. I'll give you one guess.
Oh, what you got there? Oh, is that an actual book?
It is. Oh, the journal.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yes. It's showtime.
Very cool.
I got this at none other than your favorite place, Spirit Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Time. Always a good time, Spirit Halloween. Expensive, but always a good time.
Yeah, it can be. Absolutely. All right. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for being a part of this. We really appreciate you. And if you're feeling thirsty, perhaps you should
Have a dreadful, shocking, but sometimes creepy Rumble Pop.